All right, welcome to our first reboot episode of the LFGG podcast. I have our first guest of Season 2, Visions, has joined us. Evan couldn't quite make it today. We're not quite sure if the time difference is going to work as far as him being a co-host, but he said he would come on and be a guest from time to time no matter what. So very lucky to have Rank One Multiclasser Visions joining us on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
And as tradition, 4 or 5 years ago, we started the question everyone wants to know, just kind of how did you get into the game originally, and then how did you find your way into PvP?
I have been in the game since vanilla, frankly. I was, 6 or something years old back then. And I remember seeing my mother play it. And then my friend got me into it. And from there, the first time I ever got my own account was with my father coming back from a military tour in Afghanistan, and he brought home the collector's edition for Burning Crusade. So my first character ever was actually a male Draenei Hunter. Good times. But
male Draenei Hunter.
Yeah, always go male apparently.
Yeah.
But outside of that, for getting into PvP, I casually played it for most time. My first real experience in PvP was Wrath of the Lich King on my Boomy. It was when the Spirit of Competition pet came out, and you had to win a BG to get that.
Yeah.
So that was the first real time I got into it, and press Starfall, win games.
It's the same still.
Yeah, it's still the same thing. But in terms of getting into serious PvP, it was in Warlords of Draenor. I kind of did it semi-seriously in MoP, but the first time I ever pushed for a Rank 1 title was Warmongering, and I missed that title by 1 point, and I was so depressed. I still have the screenshot of that. I was just so angry. Yeah, it's been a wild ride over the last, Legion was 9 years ago, so 11 years.
That's horrifying to hear because I remember
horrifying.
Legion like it just happened.
Yeah, I still feel like I'm 16 years old, but I'm not.
It also terrified me when you said you were 6 years old playing vanilla because, I started in BC myself. I remember in Merciless season, I saw the Rogue set, and I didn't even know what WoW was. I had never played a PC game before. I was just strictly, I'm Canadian, so as you can, there's a Red Wing jersey behind me.
I am moved. Don't worry.
Yeah. I am too. So I literally only played NHL, Madden. Never even had a computer, and then I saw that set, and I was like, I'm gonna play that game and get that set. And I was so horrible that it didn't even require rating, and I couldn't get it. I literally just was so bad. All I did was press Sinister Strike and Eviscerate because every other ability didn't do damage. So why would I press it?
Yeah, those are the good times when we were all stupid.
Yeah, exactly, right. So
and now you look back on that, you're like, man, I was a goddamn idiot.
Just horrible. And then it was a really cool time to be a part of WoW, because that was 2007. So that was the hype and the height of really the game, and everyone in my high school, didn't matter what friend group you were in, everyone played WoW. The teachers played WoW. That was the Call of Duty, the Fortnite of that era.
Yeah, it was one of those games where it's it kind of brought everyone together at the
Yeah,
time.
exactly. All my friends, there was 40 of us. We all rolled on the same server. We were all on Hakar, the worst server possible. One guild even pulled Illidan the entire expansion of BC. No one even killed it. So it was
days back then were fun.
Yeah, exactly, right. So as far as PvP goes, I have a similar experience in WoD, not quite rank 1 territory, but I got my first Gladiator in Cataclysm as a Holy Paladin, and I didn't get another one until the Gladiator change happened, but I was 4 points short in Season 1 WoD and Season 3 WoD both times. So those mounts were kind of ugly, but it would have been nice to snag one.
I still say those mounts are the best worst thing ever. It's a face that only a mother could love.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I know Cham, for instance, but Cham and I always joke when we're ever talking about Glad mounts, it's this season sucks, this season's great. But then we always say, you know what mount's the best? And we both immediately log on to the Warmongering one.
I'm so, I was really obviously, bummed out when I missed it. But then when they made the change where they were bind on account, I was like, no way. I could have had that on every character.
Yeah.
But,
it was an interesting change, but it was one of those mounts where it's just you felt good having it.
Yeah.
Even if it was, the ugliest thing in the world.
Such a weird, I always think, I think it's S3, the black and white one. I always said, Bane. He looked like Bane, kind of. But
I still wish they made, a Glad mount that was just a worm.
Just a worm, like
Just a
from
worm.
the original horrific vision.
Yeah, like a
Brought
Cahoon.
back now, yeah, like a Cahoon
Yeah.
Wormy. That'd be funny. It'd be better than the bats we got right now.
Yeah, these
That's
bats suck.
horrible.
They're so stressful to get to.
I know. Like, dude, I'm hard stuck 2200, not playing until it gets easier, which is kind of like a bad thing to with the system the
Well,
way it is now.
that's
But
also where my group's at right now. Like we want to play, but we're just like it's not worth it at this point because we're not pushing for titles anymore. So
yeah,
we just kind of hang out, get our glad mount, and then quit.
well, that's kind of like like me personally. I've hopped on classic on cata, and I did the sod thing for a little while, but the PvP there is non-existent.
Oh, it's also disgusting.
Yeah, like I remember hopping in on a rep pally and just like literally one-shotting an entire group, and it's like, okay, like this is not what is this cool, but it's not what I'm looking for. And this time around on Kata, I'm playing classes I never played in or in OG. I've been playing a DK Warrior and Lock because they're all three of them are disgusting.
Yep.
Um, Not quite as disgusting as Fire Mage and Rogue with Bone Link, but it gets the
Well,
job done.
you get what you want.
Yeah, and I guess I know that you're mainly a retail guy, but we chatted off stream, and you're looking forward to MOP a little bit there. Is that gonna be like kind of 50-50 or 90-10 when you're bored of
Well,
retail?
I mean, Kata, for instance, I played for the start, but then when you start playing Boomy so much, you start getting carpal tunnel in Kata because it's just Moonfire spam.
Yeah,
So you had to stop that, and then like obviously I don't like playing Disc Priest, so I play Holy Priest, and it's just the
not
worst
very good.
worst thing in the world.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, when Mob comes out, I mean, I already told like Champ, for instance, where I'll be leveling like 3 monks to play with him and stuff, and have my Boomy and stuff to play because I mean I love Mob Windwalker. It was my first. I played Windwalker since it was released, and it's one of the most fun things I'll ever be able to play again. Um, because I mean, Mop was just like I think it was the pinnacle of class design and spec design specifically.
yeah. I think there's two boats. There's like the high end player like yourself and a lot of the top PvPers look back and think how good of of an expansion in class design and really that's when they really expanded on like not so much rock paper scissors, right? Like it was more skill variants, but also on the other side I know a lot of players with so many binds, right? Like the bloat that happened on keybinds, a lot of people just couldn't keep up, and so I'm interested to see what that's like now because I feel like the classic player base is a lot more evolved than it was back then.
I mean, when you're talking about Mob, I think it's more just like every class had a way, every spec even had a way to play the game, and they all had win conditions, and that's what made it the most fun. Obviously, Windwalkers were kind of like the middle ground of I don't know, melee specializations where they weren't the best, but they weren't the worst. But
Mm-hmm.
if you did well on it, you did well on it.
Yeah,
But every class had its way to win in every matchup, except maybe you can make an argument in like mages versus hunter, but I still feel like they had the win condition. Um, but I mean, for I don't know, I feel like Mop might flop honestly, which sucks. It sucks to say because I want to play it. I know a lot of my friends want to play it, but I feel like people are just gonna kind of do the whole thing they did with every season on retail, where it's like if you don't have that instant dopamine hit of everything being perfect, you're going to just quit. And depending what patch we get, we might have to deal with the garbage like BM Hunter one shots and stuff.
yeah. I
Um,
know that they've. I was actually gonna ask you as a good segue. Like I think the people that play the Kata or the Wrath Classic, even BC, they get the meta gets so stale because you're playing on the last patch all the time, right? And
yeah.
there's no real changes, and I don't know if, like you said, like I remember season one Hunter in MOP Malevolent, like BM was absolutely cracked, like unbeatable almost, and they weren't very. Same with Demo Warlock with their changes they had, Chaos waving around, and then you play that last patch, and I don't even think Demo is a spec that is even viable in Arena really if you're looking to play.
Actually, it's an interesting concept to think about because when you think like Windwalkers are unplayable till Grievous,
Yeah,
and so if we're on Prideful season like balancing, Windwalkers might be the most disgusting spec in the game. Um,
I've
but at
seen
the
some
same
tier
time,
lists that they're gonna be cracked.
yeah, well, we're gonna have a lot of the balance changes. Ring of Peace is gonna be disgusting. Zuen will be broken. It'll be all those things. But then you'll have things like arcane one shots.
Mm-hmm.
Final patch demo would be very good early season, but it's gonna
Yeah.
fade off as you get to like Grievous and stuff. So I mean, it's gonna be a lot of just kind of seeing how it plays. But I feel like I think the meta is going to change a lot because you're going to see a lot of comps in like at least the first two seasons that were only viable season in Grievous and Prideful, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
sounded weird.
and I've heard both sides. Like, it might flop, it might flourish because there's no PVE grind. The one thing that I'm wondering about is, I don't know if you recall, but Malevolent Season was gearing the style of Cataclysm, where there was tier 2 weapons, tier 2 set, and then they went away with that in Tyrannical with the PvP power, PvP resilience, and no longer tier 2 weapons. So I've seen already on the beta that they have because it's the last patch, the Dreadful Honor set has PvP power on it, but there's no Conquest vendor, so no one knows if there's going to be a tier 2 weapon or not.
Yeah, I think all the gearing and stuff is going to be just like we're going to see how it plays out, but I think just it's going to be the same thing Kata was, where the start of it, and Wrath too, where it's going to be like everyone's going to play it for like the first month or two, and then the people who just don't enjoy for whatever reason are going to quit. But MOP is one of those things where even if you're not a PvPer, you're going to have a lot of things to do, because if you're just a transmog grinder or pet battler or whatever, it's all there for you. Like it's one of the expansions with the most content until obviously Siege of Orgrimmar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I remember early MOP with the dailies you had to do was absolutely ridiculous. Like, even unlocking the Golden Lotus, I remember those were some of the, like, I'm a on retail, I'm a reputation guy. I have like over 120 exalted reps. I got almost 120 tabards. Like, I'm big into that, but I have no interest in going back and re-grinding all those reps and those dailies for serpents and things like that. And they've already said that once you get a serpent on a main, you don't need to redo the rep on your alt. So
yes,
that's a nice change.
Everything is changed over. So like Invincible's the same way. You have it on all your characters if you got it in Wrath Classic.
Yeah, but I'm really hoping it pops off. I've really been enjoying Cataclysm. I think I tried to queue some retail demo lock yesterday in twos, and it was okay. I think we were around 2-1 MMRs playing with the Holy Paladin, and we did well. Like, Holy Paladin demo lock is just going to dampen, right? And but I don't really enjoy the retail combat style. I don't know what part it is. I was watching.
Trust me, I don't either. It's too fast these days.
Well, I was watching the Gauntlet yesterday, and I was watching the AWC, the final today, and my girlfriend was watching with me, and she just, I was explaining to her that nothing really happens until 7 or 8 minutes into the game, because you need so much dampening, really, right? Like, that's kind of the kill time was around 8 minutes today in each game, and she's saying, why are you even watching until that last 45 seconds? And it's like, I didn't really have an answer for it. It's like, well, that's just kind of how the game is. Like, the announcers keep it interesting, but there's nothing really dangerous unless there's a catastrophic mistake early, and I don't really know how they fix that.
Well, I mean, retail's fallen into the same problem Cata fell into, where it's just the meta is so, it just is what it is. The problem with it is like Cata and all the classics in general is you can find a way to make some weird thing work, and that's just because of how the game was designed. But retail is very rock paper scissors right now. I mean, like if I play my Boomy right now and I queue into a warrior or a DK, I don't want to play the game. Like, I'd rather AFK. I'll win the game until like a certain bench point where I'm playing as actual humans. But like if I'm playing against some 2K DK or DK warrior, like I don't want to play the game because it's just not fun to deal with them. And the burden, like if you're playing a spec that's hard countered, and I guess like the best way to put it is Shadow Priest versus warriors in retail right now is like it's unplayable. I have some of the best Shadow Priests in the world on my battle tag we play. If we queue into a warrior, we just AFK the game. It's not worth our time.
Which is a crazy concept considering who you're playing with.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't matter how bad the player is. It's just the damage pattern is so high, and the burden of execution on the Shadow Priest is it's too much for them. And if they make one mistake, that game goes to just complete shit, and there's nothing they can do about it. So I mean, to fix it, I mean the simple process is like the game pace needs to slow down. I don't know. I mean, I think secondary stats are the biggest problem. Versatility is too much of an issue, and haste is too much of an issue. But a lot of the modifiers in the talent trees, I think, have killed balancing overall.
I think that Blizzard, they get caught in a trap of they need to add something every expansion, right? And these hero talents were then the hero talents were such a good idea. Everyone is hyped to try out. Hell Caller and things like that, and
Yeah.
but it's really added such a layer of complexity even in PvE now that we're right back to kind of how we were in BFA, and with the systems on systems on systems, and you don't even know what's proccing. You have 100 things going off, and now a warrior is walking up to me and critting me for 4 million overpower, and it's like they don't know why they did it. I don't know why they did it. It's just like
No one knows.
yeah, it seems insane, and this is my first season trying to main a caster in a very long time, and I feel the exact same way when I'm playing against any DK or any warrior on my demo lock. I'm like, I can't even cast. Like,
If you're not playing Mage or Ellie right now, you're not playing a wizard. That's all it is.
it's just not fun.
That's just what it is, right? Like it's just not fun. Like I'm someone who plays very unique comps. Like I will sit here and play like Boomy, like anything really. My favorite one is Booming Mage. Obviously, I play that with Volkazar a lot, and he's obviously a very good mage. I think he's one of the best in the world, if not the best mage. But like he doesn't even play anymore because if he logs on, he can't play fire. It's unplayable to play the spec. And we go into a game as Booming Mage, and it's like what we have to do to win the game.
Yeah.
If we make one mistake, we lose the game. So what's the point in playing? I'd rather just like, it'd be better for him to play a Frost and then me play a spec I've never played before, like a Rogue or something, like sub.
Yeah.
And we'll just win the games just
Passively.
50 times easier. It's depression to play it because we're in this like loop of, you can't be creative, you have to play the set meta, because if you don't, you are going to be suffering. And the stress for suffering is not worth what you should be getting out of a game.
But do you think that's the path of least resistance, or is that a bigger problem where Blizzard has now made it so easy after us as a PvP community complaining about how hard it was to gear alts, how hard it was to level alts and get to a best in slot level, that now that it's so everyone can play anything all the time and gear something in one day, it feels like
I don't think
the meta just goes.
Okay.
Everyone wants to
I see
play
what you're
meta.
saying, but I don't think that the gearing issue was ever an issue. I think the fast like gearing alt and stuff was fine because whatever. I mean, I don't want like I work now. I'm not 16 years old. I can't spend 16 hours playing the game anymore.
I feel
Like
the same.
I want fast gearing, but the problem I have with it is they push drastic changes on. So I mean, everyone remembers Crimson Season where the Retpocalypse happened.
Oh my! I literally
And
quit the game until he got nerfed.
yes, I have. So on that season, I was playing Boomy Warrior Wrestle Shaman with Casimir and Baba Ganoush, and one of the best warriors in the world, probably top 3 Wrestle Shamans in the world. And we're really good with the comp. Casimir made a ret, day 3 was 3,000, like CR. And he had no idea what he was doing. Like, and then so we finished our Glad push, whatever. And he messages us 3 weeks after the Glad push, and he goes, guys, I wasn't even playing a stamina talent. Like, no wonder we were losing games. He doesn't even know what he's doing and we're winning. So it's like, Blizzard does these like drastic overhauls that shift the meta so massively one way that when you nerf it, it's still disgusting. But because you made it so heavy-handed, that the counters that beat it are no longer playing the game, and you lose the, I don't know, like the mindset of how to beat it. Like no one's gonna play Assassination Rogue unless it gets buffed by like another 30% on half its abilities.
Well, and I also found like everyone is excited for Ret to get nerfed, right? And then but they do a class rework, like we're talking Crimson Season, where at the start of the season Assassination was disgusting. It was like, you went 6-0 in every shuffle lobby. I'm not a shuffle guy, but I would see it like you're literally like unbeatable with mind numbing and shiv, and casters taking 2 seconds to cast a normal half-second cast. Like it was absolutely ridiculous. And then that gets nerfed to the ground, and then Ret Apocalypse happens, and then no one wants to play, and then they've got themselves into this cycle where it seems like every half season something gets reworked, and everyone knows the rework is going to be so disgusting that people don't even play. Like when DH in season 3, like the same thing happened to me. I was Asa Rogue. I didn't get Glad in season 1 and season 2 of Dragonflight, and then season 3 I knew that they were reworking DH, and I was like, I'm going to play DH for the first time ever, and I was like 2,800 within 2 days of threes. I don't even know what I'm doing, and it's like I get Gladiators so quickly, and I think that like I don't know if they don't test the PvP side of it. Like you see them nerfing things, hotfixing things, nerfing by damage by 80%, 90% on one ability. It's like,
when you have to nerf or buff things to make it viable by like a massive margin, like a 10% buff should be like the extent of how high anything should go.
Yeah,
But when you're
yeah.
doing things like 30, 40, 50, even 80%, it's too much. And then on top of it, you have to have like the reward system in place. Like I'm a big advocate for the old rating system where, 35% is challenger, 5.5% is glad, 0.1% is rank 1. And the whole reason for that is just be like, you can fodder reroll all you want, but if you don't put the time into the spec or whatever, you're not going to get your glad mount, you're not going to get your rank 1 title. So
Hmm.
you actually have to commit to a main, you have to play a comp and learn the comp, and you're going to have to suck it up when you queue into something that beats you. You can't just flip-flop between specs and be like, okay, well now I beat this guy.
I'm in the middle with the way that Glad works. I don't think that this current system works very well, and I don't think that the old system, with how fractured the PvP brackets are now, I don't know if it would be like a 0.5%. I don't know if that's enough for Gladiator for the common man like myself, who I would consider. I have 10 Gladiator titles throughout the course of the game. And I struggle to get Glad in the current situation until the last couple weeks, simply because, I mean,
Me too.
there's no MMR. All the best players are queuing. I stopped playing about a month ago because at 2200 CR, I'm literally queuing into teams I'm watching in the AWC, and it's like I'm not that good of a player. I know I'm not that good of a player. There's no point in even queuing. So, I mean, I'm just like I'm completely like 50-50. The old system gets more participation throughout this season, I think, and the current system, everyone waits till the very end because MMR is so juiced.
I mean, that's also the thing, though. Blizzard shot themselves in the foot by doing all these different brackets. I mean, you have classic, arenas. You're going to have anniversary realm arenas on TBC
Yeah,
soon. We have both solo shuffle brackets. We have twos, threes, and RBGs. So like, it's 7 brackets that are split between. It's too
and it
fractured,
seems
and then
like
on
all of
top
them
of it,
aren't living very well right now.
yeah. Well, because of how split it is and how everyone kind of just like, frankly, hates the game right now. It's like, what's the point in playing unless you are finishing at the end of the season? Because like, I'm probably not going to finish my glad mount till like there's 3 days left in the season because what's the point?
Yeah,
Like if I'm not pushing for rank 1, I don't need to be playing against the top players anymore. Like, it's just not worth my time or my effort.
and that's like it's kind of a sad statement to hear from a player that's so accomplished as yourself. Like, I mean, if you're waiting that long to get it done, what chance does someone who's never gotten Gladiator really have in to accomplish it? Like, in any time where like you're just kind of waiting for the MMR to explode the last week of the season, last 2 weeks to go up to 3K CR, so you can kind of get your 2400 queues at the very end. Like that's not healthy for the game because no one plays throughout the year or throughout the entire season, which is what we have right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can use a simple example of Verdant season, for instance. I really didn't play all season, and then the end of the season, Cham, G-Cars, and myself were all queuing. And, like, at the start of the season, we're suffering because we're queuing into, like, Trill and all of them. And it's like, I don't mind playing against the rank 1 teams because I actually enjoy playing against them, and it's because I've played against them for, 9, 10 years now at this point. I know how they all play. But I find those games fun. But I'm queuing against these 2,400 people who've never even seen Glad before,
Yeah,
and they're all just fought re-rolling, and I'm sitting here playing this weird comp. I'm playing Boomy Ellie Resto Shaman, like I'm playing a garbage comp.
the ultimate
And
dampener.
we're sitting here playing against these people who are winning through add-ons. I have like a healing tide get thrown down, and this Ret immediately spins on his wheels to go find it because his weak cores are screaming at him.
Yeah,
And then he's still killing me from Egypt because he's a range class when he's actually supposed to be melee. So it's like it's so unfun playing in some of these specs, and then like some of the specs like Ret, for instance, are just extremely overloaded in what they have in every season because they have too much utility. They end up having too much hybrid healing, too many defensives, too much damage. Like it's just too much in the game, and everyone has everything. It doesn't feel like anyone has a weakness anymore.
well, and to touch on the add-ons there for a second, I don't know if you've been, they have obviously introduced or introducing that one button rotation, and I think I've watched a lot of other content creators, talk about that on more of a PVE take, because obviously I don't think it's going to work at all in PvP, maybe in the 1200 bracket, but it seems like they're treating the symptom, not the illness, and they're so close. It's like, oh well, the game's so complicated that we're gonna create a one button rotation, and it's like, well, why not just simplify your game a little bit and not have to have all these add-ons? Not have to have a weak core package to even queue an arena. Like, it seems like well, Ian said it, the game director, that their plan is to get rid of weak cores, and I wonder what the game will be like then. They're gonna have to severely nerf the procs and the complexity.
Well, it's like with the one button rotation thing. I understand where they're coming from. People with disabilities need a way to play the game.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like in PvP, it's probably never going to be relevant. I'm sure you're going to see some, stupid player. You probably see Absturge or somebody or Venruki sit there and pull out a video like, oh, I got 2400 playing with one button rotation, because you can play Demon Hunter or Warrior with it, because they're the most mindless specs in the game. But it's not really going to be relevant for PvP. I think it's just stupid that they have to put it in the way they do, frankly. But for add-ons, I mean, I think I just saw a post today or something where, like healers aren't, or melee aren't going to be able to track mobility for other classes. Like, ranged aren't going to be able to track kicks for the enemy team and stuff, and you're not going to be able to track CDs and all that. And I'm like, I'm very anti-add-on. I think it's very useless. I mean, I was competing in AWC. I was getting in tournaments and top 3 in tournaments back in Legion without a single add-on on my screen. But I think that they really just needed to either buy out things like weak auras or whatever, because they just do too much, or they need to do what they're doing right now and just slapping like the cuffs on this, because they've gotten so excessive. I mean, if you look at someone's UI, like if Fustin from EU, he's an AWC player.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at his screen, 70% of his screen is an add-on. The only 30% of it left is just his character and where it is. Like he's not looking at his character anymore.
Ever.
So yeah. So when you're looking at your screen, you're not even seeing the game. What's the point in playing the game at this point?
Well, I'm a victim of that. I mean, I play my demo walk, and I never look at my character. I'm looking at Gladius, and I'm looking at the WeakOr package and Omnibar. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I play at a complete disadvantage because I don't use weak auras. I mean, I had Cham yelling at me for like 3 seasons straight about standing in Earthen, and I refuse to stand on that thing regardless. I don't care. I have a big UI now where it just has this giant Earthen totem on my screen to tell me to stand in it. I will still walk out of it. I don't care.
Well, even with the add-on, I don't stand in it, Cham.
Yeah,
that's probably why Cham won't queue with me.
Yeah, he just dodges everybody. It doesn't change anything. But it's like the fact that I have to download a weak aura to be able to play the game around a certain button probably also says there's an issue with that button.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always said the animation for Earthen is horrible. You can't see it.
Yeah, you can't see it.
Half the arenas are brown.
Even if you are in it.
Yeah, like, you can't see it
like
at all.
There's nothing on your screen that tells you that you're in it unless you like have it showing on your screen. It's like, I frankly play on low settings, so I don't even if I can see it, it's such a minimal thing to look at.
Yeah, well,
it's just,
I mean, it seems like there's so many things that you could change, or that it's almost like you don't know where to start as far as retail PvP goes. And I think
I wouldn't even say that. I would say Blizzard just doesn't know what they want to do.
Yeah, I don't even know who's in charge of the PvP anymore. At least when we had Halinka there, we could yell and scream at him, and he would try.
Bring back Godlinka. We need to go back to WoD.
Exactly, right? Give us Ashran.
Give me my Splashran. Come on.
Yeah. So I don't even know who to yell at anymore. I mean, it's that's probably by design, so that someone's not just getting abused every day by all the PvPers. But
that's the funny thing too, because I mean, I've posted on the forums a bit and stuff, and like it is like pulling teeth to get even a community representative to say anything.
I don't post on the forums, but I read those arena forums almost every night before I go to sleep, and I never see a response from a blue or even a gold, I think is what the community.
I think I've seen it one time, and it was related to a very serious bug that they came in, because everyone was like, you need to fix this crap, and they come in like, oh yeah, we're looking into it. Thanks. Like, what's that gonna do? We want you to fix the game, not fucking one bug. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the meme is you're playing a mini game and we take it so seriously, but I mean,
so I'm gonna say it's a mini game, because that's actually, I hate that argument, because WoW PvP it's a very unique PvP compared to any other game. I mean, I play StarCraft, I play League of Legends, and like, obviously those games are unique and stuff, but
There's nothing like WoW PvP, man.
There's nothing like WoW PvP, and I would say that when you think about WoW, like in its infancy, when you're looking like TBC Wrath and all that, yeah, there was the aspect of PvE and the magic of the game and stuff that brought people in.
Yeah.
But PvP is kind of what made people stick. I mean, obviously we have that one that music video from Jace Hall back all the way in Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
I play WoW and stuff, and it's just like people cared about PvP back then. And we were all terrible, but um, it's the
PvP was
aspect
like
of what it could.
if you were good at the game, you PvP'd. Like it was like
Even
it
if
was
you
like
were bad, you enjoyed
well,
it.
it was just a cool kids club. Like if you were like that's I just remember like seeing people with even their 2200 weapons or their 2K shoulders in TBC and like
Yep.
you attain like I think that type of rating system is what should still be in the game to, like I was gonna bring up the reward system and how stale it has gotten in the current version of the game and how they keep making it easier and easier and easier to get the rewards. I mean, 1950 is the weapon illusion now, and it just almost blows my mind. I mean, 2100 is the weapon skins. Like, there's
Yeah, I mean, like
there's
the
just
season starts and people get their tabard first day. It's like that
it's
shouldn't be how
crazy.
it is.
In shuffle, you can go play Blitz
Yeah.
at 3400 MMR, and then you're playing twos at 2K and you're queuing into Sea-Doo, and it's like, well, what is happening? Like, it really,
Yeah.
it just doesn't even make sense.
Well, people are it's just, I think the MMR system is one thing of just complete awfulness, but like, even just me, I didn't play my Boomy at all this season. I came back one game full greens like a week ago, and my first game's a 2700 MMR shuffle.
How is that even
What
fair?
what the hell am I gonna do in full greens? Like, I get it, like you don't want to put me against 1500 players because I'm gonna just dog
Yeah,
on the lobby,
yeah.
but
You're also going to go 06 unless you are.
I went 3-3, so
Okay, well, exactly. Well, you're the exception to the rule, right? Like,
but like
that happens
I
to
can't.
me.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, like, I'm trying so hard not to die against these people who are in full gear, just running me down, even though they're all terrible players. But like, these people are spamming shuffles. These people have like fucking thousands
All
of
the
games
gems.
played this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have everything, and I'm still being able to clutch it up. And it's like that's obviously the skill behind it, but like, these people are playing so many games every day. They've gotten their rewards. They realistically aren't going to get anything else in this bracket because they're not getting the rank 1 title with how bad they are. And yet they're still going to spam here, and I have to deal with these players in my lobbies. It's just like, it's super unfun. I have no reason to grind the bracket till the end of the season, so there's no fix for the reward. Like, that's why I'm an advocate for the percent rewards, but that's just because it forces people to play the game, and it forces like rewards to be more prestigious.
Yeah.
But on top of it, like if you do the percent rewards for the real brackets, like 3s and 2s and stuff, you can create a separate line of stuff for the people who spam shuffles. Like just a small thing, like armor skins or whatever for the mount. Like they can do things.
And I think I'm like when I was younger, I wanted everything to be super prestigious because I played 16 hours a day and I worked hard to get my Vicious Gladiator mount and I worked hard to get my tabards and my elite set. So I didn't want it to be easy for anybody. And now I'm in the boat where it's like, I would prefer it to stay hard and be rewarding for people who put the time in, but I really don't care. I think with the layering system and the cross server and the cross faction now, like there's no real sense of community and there's no, I don't see anyone dueling in Elwyn or dueling in Duratar anymore. I mean,
It's also like it's a variable of the punishment system, because I mean everyone hears all the time about someone who gets muted or banned or for whatever time just because they typed.
Yeah.
Like I don't type and shuffle.
No,
Like,
I turn my chat
like,
off because I've been banned twice.
Yes, I want to say so many things because there's no reason some people who are 2K for the first time ever are playing in my lobbies
And calling you
grieving my
shit.
games, and they're calling me shit for making a correct decision. Like, I'm sorry, I've played this game so much longer than you at the highest level,
Yeah.
and yet I have to deal with your crap. Like, it's just not.
And then
It's so
you're the
painful.
one that gets banned.
Then I call them an idiot, and suddenly I'm 3-weeked. I'm like, oh, okay.
And
Screw me, I guess.
it's all AI, like it's all automated.
Never speak to a GM. It's like
No.
pulling teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just
I
all
mean,
painful.
I guess to shift kind of our focus would be, what do you suggest to kind of start this healing process, if we can call it that, of retail arena or retail PvP in general, not just threes. I know that we're hyper fixated on the threes bracket and the rewards.
Just PvP in
but,
general, I'd say.
like,
I mean-
what are a couple things that you would like to see in the short term and in the long term?
Well, I mean, short term, it's just like kind of have people that give a shit. Frankly, like some people like don't heavy hand the nerfs and buffs and shit. Just like slightly balance things out. Because I mean, like I'm gonna go like after this when we're done. I'm gonna go queue some twos with setback for instance, and he's gonna be playing fire mage. He's gonna play the worst spec in the game, and we're probably gonna be playing like 2400 MMR. We're gonna be suffering, and he's gonna have no gear, and we're still gonna win games. But it's gonna be trying hard. Um,
Fire
but
is
like
getting a
fire,
massive buff on Tuesday.
yeah. But like that's the thing too is why does it need a massive buff? It could have probably just
Yeah.
done a 10% buff and nerfed, Frost Mage by 10% in comparison, and then evens out the specs a bit. So it's like they need to just stop with the heavy-handed stuff and just kind of like shift things slowly.
Mm.
I'm a big advocate for how Riot balances League of Legends, even if it's bad at times. But they do bi-weekly changes, even if it's just minor changes. It's just like those slight adjustments change things.
Keep it fresh.
Your spec
yeah.
your spec will still be playable, but maybe this specific talent is going to be better this week. It changes the playstyles up. But for long term, I mean, Blizzard frankly just needs to have game masters and devs that kind of care, because I don't think they have a single person that does. I mean, I know like what class was it? Was it Hunter? Maybe it was Hunter. Just in general, I don't think they even have a class dev anymore.
What?
So it's like you sit there and you're like, how does Hunter ever get to be viable if they don't have someone who gives a shit about the spec or the class even?
That sounds. That doesn't even sound believable to me. But like,
It doesn't, but
I believe it.
Yes,
Like,
because I know that there are a few specs out there, or classes rather, that don't actually have a dev on them anymore. And it's like, well, what's the point? Like, just delete the class at that point.
that's insane.
It's rough because you don't know what like. Again, like the devs aren't going to be like the best players in the world. Maybe they are. I don't know, but they're not going to be the best players in the world and know what's absolutely perfect to tune. But just having someone there that can listen to people and see like what's performing, what's not with the spec. Maybe they are really good. Maybe they're like a rank 1 Mythic Plus player or something. But they can have an idea of this spec is really good because of this reason, and maybe we need to shift more of the focus this way. But if you don't have anybody, it's not going to help anybody, and just generally the lack of communication, because it's obviously PvP is more like a minigame right now, but I think it's more just like it's abandoned, frankly.
Feels abandoned, yeah. The reward structure
does.
and the lack of. I mean, they introduced Cage of Carnage, which is arguably the worst arena they've ever released.
That map is awful.
I just don't understand. I would rather have literally Ring of Valor from Wrath back, like truly, like.
It's such a bad map.
Like why? Why make it so
I've never
many
seen
LOSs?
I don't know who, like, someone had to have been fired and made that as a joke, because there's no way that you let that type of map go through.
Well, they just see Goblin theme and they're like, "That's the patch. Ship it. Who cares?"
It's so chaotic. It's unplayable for most specs, and like if you're not a melee cleave, you're not having fun on that class, on that spec, or
on
that map even rather. Yeah.
No, I think I have on my Warlock. I have like a 20% win rate. Like I just get smoked. They just like leap charge. Like it's like, I tried to fear a priest who's literally 2 feet beside me, but he's up a lip by 4 inches, and I can't fear him. And it's like,
yeah,
it's just the Z axis and there's nowhere to hide. I don't know. It's just no one I've talked to, even like warrior mains and rep mains that I talked to, they're like, yeah, it's horrible. Like
I thought it was cool at the start, and then I started playing it more, and I'm like, you know what? I would rather just give me back Blade's Edge and DC every game. I don't care.
Blade's Edge, yeah, literally. I mean,
I'd rather just DC on off cooldown. Like I can't.
That's crazy that bug was still in there for so long, but
it's a lot of bugs.
Another person I was talking to off podcast suggested to kind of go the more league route with reward structure or Rocket League even, where obviously you use Blizzard terms, say you hit Challenger and there's 10 rewards inside Challenger. There's a maybe not as exclusive as a tabard or something, but there's a full set transmog, there's a ground mount, there's a toy, there's and then once you progress through Challenger and you hit Rival, then there's another set of rewards, and you kind of hit these check marks through the entire season to where it keeps you playing if you're a casual player, and obviously if you're a high-end player, you're going to blow through those anyways, but you have this carrot where I don't think a lot of casual players have that carrot right now outside of 1800, which really stifles participation.
Well, I think most PvPers also forget is like, yeah, I may be rank one, I may be one of the best players of all time, and even on my bad days, I'm still like able to compete at the top level. But the game is not. It should never be balanced around people like me. Um, the casual player makes up most of the
Yeah,
community, and
in
those are the
PvE
people
and
that need to have
PvP.
the reward. Yeah, just in general. I mean, there's a reason most people say transmog is the real end game because that's what you farm.
Hmm.
But those are the people that need to be like balanced around, focused around. So it's like, yeah, the top end, maybe, bouncing around marksman might not be the best idea. And it might suck for us to play against. But when you're thinking that, oh, maybe 200 people are pissed off, but 3,000 people are happy, I'm probably going to say the 3,000 people deserve the things. So like when you come to rewards, those people need to have more access to things, even if it's just something as simple as you take the glad mount, for instance, and as you unlock like those tiers, as you said, it just unlocks different armor variants or whatever, or different skins for it, so it looks like
Yeah,
kind of like an
absolutely.
evolving like
Yeah, why
mount.
not?
It brings up that idea of like, hey, you can get a cooler looking mount the more you play, and then of course you can customize it.
And the higher skill you get, and the more time you grind, like,
Yeah,
and like, it's not a participation trophy. You still need to acquire the
so to
rating.
learn and
Yeah,
yeah,
but there's infinitely more rewards. Like the illusions. If you look back at like Bloody Dancing Steel and the Legion one and the WAD one, and then you look at them now, and it's like, dude,
see, I don't even mind the new ones honestly. I mean, like I liked Verdant Crush, for instance, but
I liked Verdant and
I,
I liked the Shadow Flame one, but it seems like we've
yeah,
gotten the same bronze version the last 4 seasons, and it's like,
yeah, they also don't like do the density on them, so like it doesn't look good comparably. And
yeah,
then you have that nostalgia of the Bloody Dancing Steel. It's just like, man, I'd rather just glow red than look like this
yeah. I
bronze
don't care
shit.
if it doesn't match. I just want to glow red because it looks cool.
Yeah, and so it's like for a casual player, for like the first ever time getting those types of illusions, like they'll like it probably. I mean, I
Absolutely,
remember
yeah.
I see all the time people get their first, I think it was maybe it was Shadow Flame or something, but they got it and it was a good one, for instance. But they were so excited. They wore that shit everywhere. Every raid I was in with them, they're like proud of it and stuff. And I was laughing because I'm just like, cool, man, whatever.
Yeah,
But to
exactly. Yeah.
them, it was like, it was a reward they enjoyed because they put the effort into it.
Well,
For
and it
me,
matters. Yeah.
I get that in a night. But
Yeah.
for them, it took them 2 months. But they learned to get there, and it was like something that they wanted to get. But PvP doesn't really have that because a glad mount isn't really. It's
And,
really not obtainable for the casual player right now unless they're going to put in like 10 hours a day and learn everything. And then on top of it, there's really not much good content out there in terms of learning. Like I tried, for instance, with the coaching stuff, and I still do my coaching, but it's just so painful teaching people because
well, they want the reward, not to learn how to play. It's
it's
been
not
my
even that.
experience.
I found most people that I coached, like they wanted to learn, but it was very difficult to teach them things because what I'm seeing doesn't process in their head, and no matter how simplified I make it, there's too much information.
Well, it's a very
So,
nuanced game, and it's a very like
well, they
there's
they need to add a way to learn the things. So, I mean, one of the conversations I had with some friends was like they need to add like Guild Wars 2 does this actually, and it's one of the best things I think I've ever seen for PvP. Is they have like a not a, it's a zone for them, but for WoW it'd just be like a server or something where you just log into it and it has everything there. It has people that has things that just explain the game to you because those things are like you might know a DK has AMS, but
yeah,
do you know they also have Icebound Fortitude?
and
It's like they
Lichborn
don't.
and yeah.
If you don't play that spec, you're not going to know it. So you have to learn it somehow, and it's just if the information isn't accessible, it's not easy. So like Fenruki does a okay job, and like Supatis does an okay job at kind of teaching these things, but there's nothing good out there in terms of learning these things, and unless you have someone who's willing to put the time in to teach people, it's not there. And Blizzard doesn't. They don't really go out of their way to kind of help people like myself get out to these people, and like I'm not going to sit here and advertise for it. So
Well,
it's a
you're not
little
even
rough.
allowed to advertise for it anymore in game.
That
You
too.
get banned
Like
instantly,
we're kind of fucked
and
that way.
yeah, and also like I would say, I have a real life friend who actually got me into WoW. Uh, all the way back in high school, he still plays. We've never actually played together because we just do different things in the game. But last expansion, he was like, "Hey, I want a PvP. I want to learn how to do it. What's the first thing I should do?" And the first thing, he's never arena'd. He's just a straight raider, heroic raider, mythic plus guy, like very casual, but has played for 20 years. And my advice to him was like, log on every class, read every ability, and read every talent, and you have to not only know but have an actual knowledge of what everyone is doing, because if you don't know what the toolkit against what you're fighting, and you almost have to anticipate what they're doing, you're never going to actually understand PvP more than I go hit them, they go hit me, and it's just a flip of the coin, right? And as soon as I told that to him, he's like, I don't want to do that. That sounds ridiculous. Like, that's going to take way too long.
It's a lot of stuff.
And it's like, I couldn't even imagine trying to learn Arena currently, and you've never.
I think that's actually the exact words I said. I could not imagine coming to this game right now, not knowing a thing, and trying to learn arenas, because it's like, what the hell are you gonna?
It's mind blowing. Like,
it's like even I'm still learning things these days. Like I didn't actually know Survival Hunter Disarm was able to be reflected by warriors. Like I learned that. I was like, oh well.
I didn't even know that. So it's like,
yeah,
okay.
It's just one of those things where it's like it's not easily translatable. I mean, I remember back in Corrupted, I was queuing 2s into Dillypoo, and he goes on Twitter after, and he found out through us that Blessing of Spell Warding actually stops Intimidation Stun. No one knew that, but Intimidation was a nature spell by chance, not physical.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, so we found that out by chance, and we're just joking with him like, what the hell? This is like new information for all of us, because it's such a niche thing that's like.
And how would you ever learn that unless it happens to you?
It's one of like those 1 in a million things that you see happen, and it just happened to happen, and no one knew it. So it's like the information, it's too much, and without someone who's able to explain it all, it's very hard. Like I wish skill capped was a bit more actually. Like,
I was gonna say skill cap. Like I see y'all like on YouTube there. They offer like if you buy this package, you're guaranteed to go up 400 rating or something like that. And I don't know if it's access to all their videos or a coach one-on-one or something like that. Like
it does give you access to all their videos and stuff, but at the same time, I also say that the videos are very nuanced, because I can give you 100 videos of how I play my Windwalker or my Boomy or my Hunter, right? Yeah. And on paper, all these things make sense. But as I always say to anyone I ever coach, is that I can play this game perfectly. You will never have a game that looks like that again.
Yeah.
And you can't learn from that. You can get like ideas, but you will never be able to replicate what I play. And it's funny because every single person I've ever coached ends up getting at least Gladiator by the end of like the season, because they invest the time into it. But the amount of effort they have to be willing to put in is just so unbelievable. And it's really painful for them. I feel bad for them, because I'm like, I learned this when I was a kid and I had the interest in the game to do so. But as like an adult now, I could not imagine being like a 30-year-old guy or 25 even.
Dude.
And trying to learn this game while having a full-time job and maybe dealing with like a marriage or whatever. It's like it's too much. It's too much overload.
Like, I feel the exact same way. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Like, I've been at the pinnacle of PvE in Legion. I was rating in a top 20 US guild, and I was rating 20 hours a week and grinding Mythic Plus. I mean, when the AWC first came out, we had, or not AW, or the MDI first came out, we had 2 guild groups in working on the MDI, like competing, and now I go into a Mythic raid and I'm like, get me out of here. Like I can't even imagine trying to play this game and combing logs and just to play at a basic level, because my next point was going to be PvE and PvP, but specifically PvP. Like if you don't have a Gladiator achievement and you're trying to LFG, like if you say new player,
you can't even say that. You can't even say Gladiator, because I can link people my rank 1 titles and everything, and they will still try to flame me.
You get flamed for anything. Like I literally I don't even know how a new player finds partners on the current system. Like
you don't.
You just queue shuffle. Friends. You just queue shuffle, and it's like
you have to hope you find friends, or you have friends that are interested, because like I was screwing around in one of my discords, and we found this 1900 pally, and this guy's like 40% win rate, 3,000 games played in 2s, and I go and I'm just screwing around with him. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll just go play my Hunter with him, see what happens. And it's like concepts that are simple to me, he just didn't grasp, and then he's flaming me, telling me I'm an idiot and that I don't know what I'm doing and that I'm awful and stuff, but he doesn't seem to grasp the fact that his mistakes compound into my mistakes, and I can't do things because he doesn't do things. So like it's this variable thing. It's like, and on top of that, like for PvE as a concept too, is one of the things I actually recommend to anyone I coach is I tell them go Mythic Plus, and it's not because Mythic Plus is better. Frankly, it kind of is right now,
I would
but
agree. Yeah.
um, it's because if you can learn how to min max your class, you will do the best you can in PvP right now. Because you can get 2400 right now in every bracket just by being able to maximize your damage. And if
Yeah.
you can maximize your damage, you can weave in the stuff like kiting and defensive rotations throughout all that. So it's really weird that I have to tell people that they have to go do PvE to get better at PvP because it should not be how it is.
It's funny you say that because when I was picking up Warlock, I was talking to a couple Warlock buddies of mine, and they're like, "Your damage is low. You need to go PVE and learn your rotation until you're brain dead and you understand that you need, for instance, you need 10 imps before you summon your tyrant because the damage is compounding and your tyrant's going to hit 2 times harder if you have that at least that many imps." And it's like I would never know that. I'm just casting the abilities, right? And there's no more technically there's no more snapshotting, but there still kind of is snapshotting, and it's so like we keep using this term. It's so nuanced. The game is so complicated. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have to PVE to PvP, and you shouldn't have to PvP to PvE, in my opinion. As far as learning how to do those things, but I mean, it seems counterintuitive, but that is the advice that I was given. Oh, you want to learn how to get Gladiator or Warlock? Go Mythic Plus.
Yeah, when I was learning Survival Hunter, I realized my damage was incredibly low because I was focused so heavily on the utility sides of things.
Yeah,
So then I decided to spend 2 weeks straight just doing nothing but damage. And I went up 600 rating just doing that. It was unreal how much damage mattered compared to just perfecting CC.
I find that a lot
Um,
with older players. Like I was trying to queue some Mage Lock, and he's sheeping and I'm fearing, and then we're swapping them, and we have like a million CCs in the game, and we're losing every game. And then our healer was like, "Why don't you guys just PVE and do damage?" And then we literally ascended to like 2400 MMR, and
yep.
it's like you just it's a p the there's so much micro CC, but there's if you just do damage, you win. And I
Yes.
feel like I don't know if that's a I think that's just a horrible way to have your game. Like I don't.
Since that's the meta they've been pushing since Dragonflight, like Casimir and I, like we got so pissed at one point. We were dealing with just a bunch of bad comps. We were really rough. And we decided at one point we're like, you know what, stop trying to play this game well. We're just gonna open and we're gonna do damage.
Yeah.
And our win rate just skyrocketed because at that point we just stopped thinking. We turned our brains off and we just focused on the Zug, and somehow the Zug is better than thinking and being good at the game. And when you push that type of playstyle, it really messes up the balancing because then you get the stuff like the drastic changes with the 80% buffs or 30% buffs, and then it's all a catalyst from there, and everything just goes downhill. And then you question why. Oh, PvP is not active. Well, yeah, because no one wants to be an idiot. Like we want to be good at what we're
We
doing.
want to
I
have
don't go to
agency and not just
yeah,
who hit their rotation better. Like
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like when I played my Windwalker at my peak in Legion, like the whole reason I loved it was because of the agency that I could have. I had like the what I did mattered.
yeah,
But now when I play my Boomy and my Survival Hunter, it's like yes, what I'm doing matters, but if I just stop doing it and do more damage, I'm probably gonna win more games. But you have to like training yourself to have bad mindsets is never a good idea. Like that's my big issue with Shuffle too is that you learn bad habits and those bad habits translate to threes and then your threes become bad and then it's this cascading effect.
yeah. Shuffle, like I think, is a breeding ground for obviously the inflated
Ego.
MMR and the ego, and it's like you don't have to. There's no drinking in shuffle. The dampening starts right away. It's literally just a press your cooldowns button. I mean, I mained rogue for 3 expansions. Like I refuse to go in solo shuffle as a rogue because everything is DR'd instantly. I'm running around just attacking things, and it's like I literally can't even play my spec, and then I just get called terrible the whole time, and it's like, dude, what am I supposed to do when you triple DR stun something instantly 4 seconds into the game, and now a warrior and shaman are just beating on me for a minute straight? Like,
Yeah, I think
it's
Shuffle has also like not just the ego and inflated MMR, but I think it just make no one actually knows what they're doing anymore, and because of that, it just becomes PvP is I say is actually one of the most toxic communities I've ever like dealt with, and I play League, so I trust me.
yeah,
Um, but like PvP, these last two expansions has been like the absolute pinnacle of toxicity. It's like no one, it's never your fault. It's everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
And that mindset is terrible because I I can carry most of my lobbies in solo shuffle, but like the moment you start flaming me, I will undo. I don't care. Like I'm not dealing with these people that shouldn't be in my games.
Well, I played a shuffle yesterday because I was trying to unrest for some threes, hopefully tonight, and I was playing with a ret, and he's running at a mage, a frost mage, the whole game, and he can't attack. And there's a arms warrior who's just beating on me. I'm like, let's just kill the warrior. And I literally said, hey, let's go warrior next time. And all he wrote was, you're a worthless pig. Like that's literally what he wrote. I'm like, what? Like, and then I am instantly frustrated, and I'm flaming him. He's flaming me, and then, it ends like that. But I'm like, dude, like, you can't say one word of constructive criticism, or not even criticism, but like, let's hit the other target. Like there's just no room for
No
any human,
accountability.
and there's no room for any human interaction. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, and that's what I was worried about. I was against shuffle the whole time because that's exactly what I thought it was going to be, and that's exactly what it is. And now all the people that wanted shuffle now all don't want shuffle because what it's turned into. WoW is never meant to be a solo queue game. It's a living,
No.
breathing world.
WoW is a team game with friends and stuff. It's also why I think like when you have people like Crusader who are like these very popular streamers, I think that's like the pinnacle of showing how bad the game is
Yeah.
because they promote that style that they're perfect and nothing's wrong. But reality is when you look at those gameplay and you actually think about what they're doing and what's happening, you realize people like Crusader are actually very fucking bad at the game.
He doesn't. He's a. I mean, I've queued with him a few times, and I always say he's a healer that doesn't want to heal. Like,
How I put it is, he is the best paladin to ever steal rank one titles.
42
He
of
does
them.
not,
Just ask
he
him.
does not deserve them. Like the way I put it is, if you compare his gameplay to any other rank one paladin's gameplay, you would think that he's maybe a 2K player because he's not. There's no comparison with him, and because of how he thinks and how he is. Like, I self played him in Wild Season, so like I dealt with him before he ever got Gladiator, and he he like thinks he's perfect, but he makes so many mistakes, and those mistakes cause these issues.
Oh, your camera just disappeared.
We good?
Looks like. There we go. Got you back.
Oh, we all
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, we're good.
Where we cut off?
Yeah. I could hear you the whole time, but talking about
Okay.
Crusader making mistakes.
Yeah, it's like these people like they make these problems out of everybody else, but the reality is they're the problem, and then it tilts everybody. And so if you have a new player coming into the game, like why would they want to continue playing PvP if you're dealing with these, like, frankly, these degenerates
Yeah.
who make you feel
Literally.
like shit? It's like I wouldn't want to go to the gym and work out if there was someone there that was just like
Screaming at you about how
nitpicking
bad you
me,
are.
screaming at me, or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not lifting as much as you. Like, it's not my job to. I'm not wanting to.
Yeah.
But then these people tell you you're doing it. It's like, I'm not going to come here again because I just don't feel like, I don't know, that I want to be here. That I'm
Well, and
welcome
there's a
here.
reason. I mean, you know, whether it's legitimate or not, he's a 42-time rank one, whatever it is, and I've never seen anyone in LFG more than he is. So it's like, he's made his own bed where no one wants to play with him who's relevant in any capacity, and then he abuses and uses players from 2K to my skill range, and like just makes fun of them on his stream. And it's like, dude, like, you have the ability, you have the voice, you have the platform to do so much good for this game, and you choose to be the like opposite of that and just be a huge dick to everybody. And like, like every time I've queued with him, he's like, Connor, you're the worst rogue I've ever seen. You're the worst rogue that's ever played. And then he queues with Zaryu, and it's the same thing. It's like, you're the worst mage in the history of the game. It's like,
Hmm.
is it ever your fault? Like, ever? And it's never
Never.
his fault. Not one time.
It's and the thing is, I used to be like that where I thought I was perfect when I played the game, but then that's the thing too. I'm matured. I think a lot of the PvP scene is very immature overall. I think most of them still act like they're 16 years old and like they think they're the best thing in ever since
And they're
sliced bread.
30.
And they're 30, and they're these people who don't have a job, like Pet Kick, for instance, who are just like a bunch of degenerates that play this game 16 hours a day, if not more. And put everyone else down at the expense of themselves, yet have no real value to anything. They don't add anything to the conversation. They don't add anything to the game. They don't help anybody, and it's just like when you foster this type of environment, like, there's a reason the game mode dies. Like, I don't really Mythic Plus right now because I'm just like burnt out.
Mm.
But like if I was to get into Mythic Plus, if someone made a mistake, I'm not gonna flame them. I'm gonna sit there and be like, "Hey, dude, like it's okay. Just like do this. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a problem."
I feel
As
like I'm
long
the
as they
same
aren't
way.
toxic to me, it's like it's whatever. I don't care. It's
Yeah,
just what it is. I'm not gonna suffer at the end of the day. I'm playing the game for fun.
exactly.
I could not imagine being a casual player right now and trying to get into PvP with all this crap around because I would go fucking insane.
When you, even if like I've seen instances like, I was playing against a warlock and I'm trying to get my 1800 set, which takes I don't know 30 rounds total, which is absolutely ridiculous. But I queue in and I'm playing with a warlock who's Destro, and his number one ability is Conflagrate, and that's it. He's no other casted ability, so he's not putting up Immolate. He's not, he's not incinerating. He's not kicking. He's not doing anything. He's not chaos bolting. Like he's literally just pressing Conflag off cooldown. And I was a dick. I literally was like, dude, what are you even doing? You're doing like literally nothing. And he goes, well, I'm brand new to the game. I don't know what I'm doing. And I check myself right away. I'm like, holy shit, dude, this guy is literally, he's like, I've never played before. I've played a lot personally, so I instantly took him under my wing, or tried to. I mean, wasn't a warlock main at the time, but I added him to BNet. We're queuing, and I'm trying to teach him things. He's asking me for tips, like, and I've also been in the situation where someone's brand new and they're doing terribly, and you trying to give them, you want to win, so you're like, hey man, like, maybe don't stand in the middle of the map as a holy paladin and have to press bubble bop and trinket in the first 8 seconds of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, fuck you, you're a loser, don't talk to me.
And these are also the
It's
things
like,
too, where the concept's not being trained into people because there's nowhere to learn it. Like when skill cap's your best guide and you have to pay them for it, it's probably a problem.
well, and it's not worth it to do it for free or put it on YouTube, or I mean, I'm not the guy to do that. I think this podcast
That's the thing. When I did the free coaching for people, I still do the coaching for free, just when they ask. But I'm not like sitting here doing it. Like within 24 hours, I had over 600 people asking me for coaching. I'm like, what?
crazy. That's crazy.
My coaching sessions are a minimum of an hour, and if not upwards of 2 hours each. I'm like, that's so much time I'd have to invest. So I started like outsourcing. I got like Setback in there. I got a few people that I know.
Well, that's how I added you on BNet, because I saw your post was like, we're offering free coaching. If you're a decent player, message me, and that's why I added you. I mean, I didn't know that you were multi-rank 1. I didn't know that we had mutual friends. I literally just added you, being like, this guy's trying to help the community. I'm going to try to help him help the community.
Yeah,
And
it's difficult because like I could help so many people, but there's no way for me. Like I have no reason to ever go to like bigger streamers or other AWC players and be like, you want to help out with this, because to them, if there's no financial like gain to it, they're not going to do it. And because I'm not a big streamer and I don't really care to stream, frankly, I don't really care for any of that content, but it's difficult to get that type of stuff out there because these people, while it's beneficial for the community as a whole, it's hard to get it out there because of whatever reason, drama or whatever. Like I have drama with Dino or Pekic and all that, but like I don't care. Like leave that out of it. Like this coaching is for the purpose of coaching. It's not for
to help your game that's dying.
Yeah, like there's a reason I coach. It's because it's what I do. It's a passion. But
yeah,
and I'm doing it free, so not having that like that place where I can put it out for people is very difficult, and it just like sits there. I'm like, I already don't want to play the game because I'm stressed out with it. The community's toxic as shit, and I don't want to sit here and help these people because I don't have the time to do it by myself. It puts this burden on everybody. So I think the community as a whole needs to kind of like fix their shit, and I think Blizzard needs to kind of jump in on it. I don't know. It's a very long conversation to be had on that, and I don't think it's gonna ever get fixed, frankly.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you. I mean, we could do this podcast for 10 hours, 100 hours, and talk about, exactly that topic. But, I mean, I think like other games, I'm a WoW player. I'm not, I've never played more than 10 games of League. I've never, I played Dota 3 or Dota back on Warcraft 3 when I was 14 before I knew what WoW was a little bit when I would go to my friend's house. But I'm a WoW player and I see there's paid coaching and free coaching available in those games. Play with a pro or be in Discord with a pro. And I know that happens in Discord and RMT, things like that, self plays and pilots and things like that. And WoW, but they're obviously, players are getting banned. Customer and business owner, I guess, is alike. It's looked down on in the TOS, and I don't quite understand why. As long as someone's not playing your account, why would, if you want to spend the money to get better at the game or play with someone like yourself who's offering it for free, like I don't understand why that is a negative kind of thing as far as Blizzard's view.
I mean, I think I understand. I think I kind of understand just because Blizzard wants kind of. They want a slice of the pie, right? Like they want to.
I guess they want them, but then
So,
have an outlet that you can do it yourself. Hire all the best PvPers in the world, and take some of the money.
I mean, I can use a simple example. One point I actually tried to get onto the commentator desk for AWC like a long time ago, and the person that was hiring for it, because was it Azale or I forget who it was.
Talbot maybe.
VHEL is who it was.
Oh.
VHEL was emailing me and stuff. We were trying to figure out how to get to it. So he sends me the resume and stuff, and send it all to the person, whatnot. And they contact me, and it's like this whole hoop to get through them. Like I'm not going through like 6 hours of interviews just to get on the damn desk. Like it's not worth my time. So like, why do I want to work with Blizzard? Like I'd rather do it independently.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with independent is if there's no financial like gain from it, and you're not gonna want to do it because it's not worth your time. So it's like when I go out here and I offer that coaching, it's purely out of interest. It's not because I'm trying to make money.
Yeah.
But Blizzard, they want to make money, and I get it. It's at the end of the day, it's a game, and it's their game and their rights. But they frankly foster the toxicity. That's kind of the best way to put it. Is they allow this stuff to happen, and they punish the people who really shouldn't be punished. That's just a general thing. It's not even just like coaching and whatnot.
No, I agree that they don't have the resources, or they don't want to put the time in to help the common player.
They have the resources. They just don't choose to use it.
Yeah, and it's like, I think of it. I have a sports background. I'm a former athlete, and if I wanted to get better, and I've done this for lacrosse, I wanted to get better at lacrosse. I hired
You're gonna hire somebody to help.
Yeah, I hired a goalie expert because I was a goalie. I wanted to be better at goalie. So
there's a reason there's experts in things.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I think of it that way, and it's like, well, if my team is not going to provide me the service because it's not their job, I tried out for the team, I made the team. If I want to get better and be the starting goalie or make a better league or something, it's on me to get better. So I hire outside help to in every way, whether it's a nutritionist, whether it's a a person that helps me with my actual goaltending, whether it's a sports psychologist. Like I see that the RMT thing. As long as someone's not logging on my account, then I log in at the end of the season. I got a rank 1 title.
No issue with, yeah.
Like I don't understand why that, and why Blizzard, if they're so against it, which they obviously are, why would they not have that for themselves so they could get that money?
Honestly, I mean, like you also got to think as well is that like AWC, I didn't even know the gauntlet was this weekend, for instance.
I only knew it because I know a guy participating. That's it. That's the only reason.
That's the thing. I do too, but I didn't know it was happening this weekend, and it's like they don't advertise these things. There's no way for you to really know because if you just log on to the game,
you're
not
never
seeing
know
this anywhere. You know nothing.
Never.
It's not there. So it's like, how are they going to sit there and get these people that are going to frankly help their business, without advertising what's going on? So it's like, Blizzard they have the resources, they have the money, and especially with the new ownership now that what's his name is gone, Kotick or whatever.
Yeah. Microsoft now.
Yeah, like they have everything they need to do it. They just need to, frankly, nut up and do it. Because if they keep going down the track, they're gonna go. Mythic Plus is gonna die. PvE is gonna die in general. PvP is already dead, so it's going to die more.
PvE is dying. No one wants to admit it. But
everything's dying.
No one's raiding.
Bad balance.
Yeah, it's too Mythic raiding is too time consuming for the rewards you get. It's not.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna play every season because that's just what I do. But I'm gonna quit after like probably the first few weeks if I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'll come back at the end of the season, get my rewards, log off for the next 6 months. Like when you give that and the thing is about Blizzard too is because of the monthly subscriptions. It's like they're already making their money. They don't give
Yeah,
a
they
shit.
don't care. Yeah.
But there comes a point where they probably need to, and I think that point's coming soon because I think this next expansion is going to be hit or miss on if the game dies after that. Frankly.
Well, they're hitching Metzen being back as their kind of their trump card per se, but I don't know. I mean, this expansion I'm not loving, especially this patch. I mean, I'm not a goblin guy, so.
Well, I mean, I haven't enjoyed the last 3 expansions, so I can't really say much. They've all been pretty shit from my end.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just PvP problems.
That's why I try to mix in everything, but I mean, it's a miserable life if you're just a PvPer, and as much as I don't want to admit it, I am 99% PvP these days. I have been for close to 8 to 9 years. I mean, I still go get my Keystone Hero or whatever it is, just because I'm a sucker for pain. I need the mounts and the titles and the ports and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do some like light Mythic Plus and stuff, but like if I don't high-end Mythic grade, I just don't have no interest in the game beyond PvP, and then obviously if PvP sucks, well then what's the point in playing?
Then you're playing League.
Yeah, then I'm logging off and doing literally anything but WoW, and then it sucks because you're wasting that money and it just feels like shit.
Well, and obviously you're passionate about it. I mean, you're not getting paid to come on here. Like like this is WoW is a passion game. Like it's been around for so long. I mean, I've played my rogue since 2007. It's the first character I got to level 70. Like I have more hours on that than I do almost in anything else in my entire life. So it's a very important piece of my teen years, my nostalgia, my current. Like I got that, like almost like it's a part of me. And
For
I
most
think
of us,
Blizzard
this game
knows
was
that.
a childhood thing.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I think Blizzard knows
we
that,
grew
and
up
they
with
play
it.
on that. They
It's
almost
I
take
don't
advantage
want,
of it.
Yeah, 100%. Because like I don't want to have to like unsub or anything, but because I've been playing WoW for so many goddamn years at this point, I'm just like it's frankly it's a part of my life, whether I like it or not. It's a part of my life. But like I don't want to have to abandon it. It's like if you abandon it, it's like losing a pet, right? Like it just feels like shit.
Well, that's how I feel when I play any other game. I'm like, I should be on WoW.
Yeah, it's like you want to play the game, but you just don't enjoy it because they don't care.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks is I think because they've abandoned so much of the PvP and the PvE, frankly, it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah, literally.
I don't know. I mean, I think Blizzard's they've dug themselves a hole and they're just digging it worse. And it sucks.
Well, I mean, we're running almost an hour and a half here. I mean, sucks to end it on on such a negative note, but I mean, honestly, it's a real conversation, and there's not too much to be excited for. I mean, they're recycling content that we still remember from not that long ago with these visions, and it has no bearing on the current state of the game as far as lore or anything like that. It seems so out of place, and I mean, they're bringing back corruptions, which I mean was fun but broke the game in so many ways. I mean, I remember they had to buff Warlock passive mana regen because they were ooming from casting so many spells when they had the full haste build from corruption. Yep. So I mean, it's or having every player you're playing against in threes on Hodge DR because you're a holy paladin with ineffable truth or whatever it was called.
We miss those days of just suffering.
So, yeah, I mean,
it's pretty bad when you can look back on Corrupted as a good season.
Exactly, literally. Like I think back now and I'm like, you know what, BFA wasn't that bad. Like,
yeah, it's always how we look at it. It's gonna be like next expansion. We're gonna say the war with it was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, or bring me back season 2 Dragonflight.
Yeah.
But anyways, I really appreciate you coming on, kind of working out the kinks with me. Obviously, the first episode in a very long time, and I know that a lot of people, when I told them that you were willing to come on, they're interested in watching. So, I just want to say thank you for kind of taking the risk and being here as the first.
Oh, I mean, I'm always around. I don't complain. I don't cry.
Well,
I just shut up and play.
Well, if you keep talking like that, I'll have to have you back soon. But yeah, I mean,
you can always ask me. I'm always around.
It's it's been a pleasure, and I hope people you're watching, you kind of we touched on a lot of different topics today. That's kind of the vibe of the podcast. Like I said, there's no edits, there's no script. We're kind of just talking in Discord, but it's being filmed. And Visions and I kind of went on for an hour about. We started with Classic, and then we moved into the things we didn't like about retail and the things that we wanted to change, and then kind of ended on just a more general philosophy of Blizzard. And I really appreciate everyone watching, and hopefully you liked it, and you look at the where is it over there, the Twitch and the Instagram and the YouTube. You like and subscribe, come hang out with us. I'll have Visions, all his socials as well, in the YouTube description, so please go give him a follow, give him some love. And I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but maybe message him for some more free coaching, because 600 people is not enough.
Yeah, I still coach him if I'm asked.
All right,
Depends
guys.
on the day.
Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.